Welcome to Badminton Unlimited, your weekly access to badminton action and beyond. This week we're in India to spend the afternoon with teen sensation PV Sindhu. And we head to Vietnam to find out about the art of decor.
We start our session at 4:30 in the morning. I used to go to school at 8:39 and then I used to finish my school by 3:30. Then again 4:30 I used to have practice. So again I had to come back for 27 kilometers. This went up to 4 years. But then I think hard work really pays a lot.
Kwasala Venkatu Sindhu, or PV Sindhu, is the next darling of Indian badminton. She took the nation by surprise when she became the first Indian woman player to clinch a medal at a World Championships. In the 2013 event, Sindhu swept past two former world number ones from China, Wang Yihan and Wang Suxian, before meeting eventual champion Thailand's Ratchanok Intanon.
I think playing in the World Championships for the first time, frankly speaking, I never thought that I would get a medal in the World Championships because my draw was really very tough. So in the semi-finals, I lost to Ratchanok, but then I played well, but sometimes I felt that it was not my day that day. But getting a bronze is a great thing for me.
Badminton Unlimited made a trip to Gachibowli, about 20 kilometers from the city centre of Hyderabad, to meet with the teenage sensation. There we also met her parents, who have been the cornerstone of Sindhu's badminton career.
They've really encouraged me, and even now for my sake we shifted our house nearby to the academy.
Born in the city of Secunderabad, north of Hyderabad, Sindhu, whose name means river, is the youngest in the family. She has an older sister who is a doctor. With both parents being former volleyball players, sports was very much a part of her early years. But it was badminton that caught her interest, and she worked hard at it right from the beginning.
At the very young age, the day she has started, she has shown such a great interest that with one call early in the morning, say when the child was around 8.5, not only one day, daily in the morning, one call, Sindhu, it's fine now. Then she used to just get up and get ready.
When Sindhu was 9, her determination and natural talent earned her a place at the famous Pullela Gopichand Badminton Academy. The former All England champion was the inspiration behind Sindhu's decision to pursue the sport as a career. But the early stages at the academy were an uphill battle for the young shuttler. Travelling close to 30 kilometers every day from her hometown to Gachibowli, where the academy is located, was no easy task. Training started before sunrise, with Sindhu juggling both her studies and badminton. But her dedication and perseverance paid off.
It's been such a journey for Sindhu in the sense. Every time we have targets, and it's been actually the case that whenever we've set targets and then she surprises and comes out with a brilliant performance, and then she's playing junior events and I'm saying, okay, it's time to move on and let's not do the juniors anymore, we'll do the seniors directly.
Sindhu reached the last 8 of the 2010 Junior World Championships and had the honour of representing India in the Uber Cup the same year. In 2012, she clinched the Asia Youth Under-19 Championship and was ranked 3rd in the BWF Junior rankings. In September, the badminton world took notice of the lanky teenager when she upset the 2012 Olympic gold medalist Li Xue in the quarter-finals of the China Masters Superseries event.
It was my first win against the Chinese player. So when I won against her, everyone was like, oh, you beat the world champion, you beat the Olympic champion. And then I was like, okay, this is just the beginning, I have a lot more to go. And I was like practicing hard, working hard, working hard.
In the same month, she also broke into the top 20 of the BWF's Women's Singles World Ranking. About a year and a half ago, Sindhu and her family moved to Gachibowli. Her present home is now only 5 minutes' drive to the academy. With the travelling time shortened, the teenager works on her game with even more passion and determination.
she's got it.
2013 was the year for the 18-year-old. Sindhu picked up her first major title at the Malaysian Grand Prix Gold, created headlines with her third-place finish in Guangzhou, and made another appearance on the winner's podium at the Macau Open Grand Prix Gold. She ended the year ranked number 11 in the world in women's singles.
I think from the starting of the year to the ending of the year, it was really a wonderful year. I never thought that I would get this much in this thing, and I think 2000 year was a brilliant year for me.
Her achievements in 2013 were made even more special when she became the second Arjuna Award recipient in her family.
My dad was the happiest person because he was like telling me when I played at volleyball, it was a team sport and it was really very difficult, and he got it at like around 37 something that time, and I've got at the age of 18, so he was like, okay, good, and he was really very happy. The feeling was, he was the happiest person.
The soft-spoken right-hander began her 2014 with a runner-up spot at the India Open Grand Prix Gold, losing only to fellow training mate Saina Nehwal. Whenever India's favourite daughters face each other, the media attention is inevitable. But Sindhu knows she's still at a junior level compared to the more experienced Nehwal.
She's an experienced player. Okay, if I play well, it's good for me, but losing also, it's nothing like, okay, I've lost something, but I can learn a lot more, and she's a senior player.
Badminton is her passion, but academics are equally important to Sindhu. She is a second-year student at the prestigious St Anne's College, studying for her Bachelor of Commerce degree. Be it school or badminton, the 18-year-old is not fazed by the challenges thrown at her, even as she sets goals for herself with full support from her parents.
Dreams and aspirations, as you know, it's one goal that is she wants to be world number 1. And she was also telling me that, Daddy, I should work hard, and if the blessings are with me and everybody are really encouraging me, so I should win a All England gold, an Asian Games and an Olympic medal. So I pray God that her wishes will be fulfilled.
It was time to leave the home of India's future star as she readied herself for another round of drills and practices. For PV Sindhu, her never-say-die attitude will allow her to look at her adversaries in the eye. Together with her dedication and commitment to the sport she loves, success will eventually follow. Time to test your badminton knowledge. Tell us who this is. I was born in 1982 in Germany. I made my international debut in 2002. I was one of the 2 Europeans to win a bronze medal at the 2011 BWF World Championships. The answer is Julian Schenk.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Julian Schenk of Germany.
Oh, she's done it!
The Yonex German Open 2014 drew to a close last weekend, and it saw players from East Asia dominating the finals of the Grand Prix Gold event. Japan and Korea were both represented in 3 events. The doubleheader began with the top 2 seeded pair in the women's doubles, as the Japanese pair of Misaki Matsutomu and Ayaka Takahashi took on the Korean duo of Jong Kyun-ung and Kim Ha-na. This should have been win number 6 on the trot for the Koreans, but the Japanese had other ideas. Despite that awful record, the world number 4 pair finally shook off the 3-year hoodoo, winning in 2 games, 23-21, 24-22. The women's singles contest continued the national rivalry as Sung Ji-hyun went up against Sayaka Takahashi. The Japanese shuttler may have been seeded 6th in the draw, but showed no fear against world number 5 Ji-hyun as she grabbed the first game. The Korean made amends to win the second, but Sayaka Takahashi was too much to handle in the deciding game. The final score read 21-17, 8-21, 21-12 to the Japanese. It was an all-Japanese affair in the men's doubles. Takeshi Kimura and Keigo Sonoda were up against the world number 3 pairing of Hiroyuki Endo and Kenichi Hayakawa. In a contest that lasted just under an hour, the 8th seeds upset their more accomplished compatriots, winning in 3 games 21-19, 14-21, 21-14. Kim Ha-na returned to the court to partner Ko Sung-hyun in the matchup against Scottish mixed pair Robert Blair and Imogen Bankia. Kim and Ko were determined to salvage Korean pride after earlier losses, but would find their Scottish opposition hard to break down. The unfancied Blair and Bankia made sure Europe had something to shout about as they gunned down the third seeds 21-15, 21-18 in 44 minutes. Wrapping up the day was the men's singles, as Indian shuttler Arvind Bhatt took on Denmark's Hans Christian Vittingus. Confidence was high for the Dane, especially after he had upset the host nation's top men's player, Mark Sriebler. But with upsets being the order of the day, unseeded 34-year-old Arvind duly obliged. With the match at 1 game apiece, the Indian player showed enough quality to see off the Danish challenge and clinch the title. The final score was 24-22, 19-21, 21-11. A fitting end to what was a fascinating final day. This is Hanoi, capital city of Vietnam and home to a population of over 6 million. As a means of getting around, the motorcycle is the transport of choice for many, making it an unmistakable part of the routine here. But we're here to investigate another significant feature of everyday life that may interest badminton enthusiasts, though. An activity that's enjoyed not just in these northern parts, but the whole nation. It's none other than Dakar.
You can see people playing dako all over Hanoi. It's part of the fabric of the city. The most popular time for people to play is in the later afternoon when they finish work or school. I'm a former national team player, as are many of my friends. We love getting together to play, and we sometimes even draw a big crowd.
Kong Trang is just one of many advocates for Vietnam's favorite pastime. Naturally, Dakar is also the country's national sport. Fitness benefits from the game have even made it a compulsory physical education activity in schools across the country.
This is a simple game, and whether you are any good at it depends on whether you have passion for it. You have to love it and practice as often as possible. A good dako player will have speed, strength, and be very agile. But as I said, the key to being successful at anything in life is having passion.
While it may not exactly be badminton, but it's strikingly similar. Instead of swinging rackets and using the arm or hand, kicking the feathered projectile is the key element of the sport. Dakar, or internationally known as simply shuttlecock, is also played in singles and doubles. Playing in teams of 3 is another option. Dakar's origins can be traced back to the 5th century BC in China, and it has since been played all over the world, just called many other names. The Chinese call it Ti Jian Zi. Indians know it as Puna, while it's called Sepak Kunci to the Indonesians. And as with badminton, the sport is a big hit in Asia, especially with its dynamics so similar to another traditional favorite.
A lot of people compare dako to sepak takraw, and there are a number of obvious similarities between the two. In both, it involves the same technique of getting up high and attacking the ball or shuttlecock in the air. But in dako, you have to be more delicate, skillful, and precise with your touch. In sepak takraw, which uses a rattan ball, the emphasis is more on power and speed around the court.
As testament to its growing appeal, the World Shuttlecock Championships have been held internationally since 1999. Host nations have included China, Germany and Hungary. And sweeping to its 7th consecutive world title last year, the Vietnam national team is a colossus.
I've played for Vietnam for many years now. It's something I'm really proud of. My dream is to become one of the best players in the world and win many medals. After that, I'd like to become a coach and pass on my knowledge of Dako to others.
Tin Hung is part of a 30-strong contingent comprising of young talents from across the country receiving intensive training in the capital. They are beneficiaries of a national academy system where players are also given accommodation, meals, as well as formal education, attending the local colleges and schools.
Generally, our lives revolve around Dako. We get up at about 6 o'clock and have breakfast, and then we train for 2 hours, and then rest and have lunch. In the afternoon, we train for a further 2 hours, and then we go to school or college afterwards. If we want, we can go home at weekends, but most of us just stay here.
All the athletes at this center receive financial support from the Vietnamese government. They take care of training and competition costs. The coaching setup in this country across all sports is good.
Given the comprehensive structure and fantastic support, it's little wonder that the Southeast Asian country is such a giant on the international scene. Dako and badminton are sporting cousins, ingrained in the Vietnamese culture, and given their passion for both, these are exciting times for the country.
It's the best feeling in the world to be on the winner's podium, singing the national anthem and watching your country's flag being raised.
This week's Player of the Week is Arvind Bhatt. In a tournament for the underdogs, the unseeded player from India reigns supreme. The 34-year-old rolled back the years to outlast Hans Christian Vittinghus. The former national champion went into the German Open unseeded, but ended with the best result of his career.
ก็น่าจะเป็นโทรศัพท์มือถือเพราะว่าจะเอาไว้เล่นเกมครับก็น่าจะเป็นน่าจะได้เห็นคุณแม่หัวเราะดังๆเนี่ยเราก็จะหัวเราะตามแล้วก็มีความสุขไปกับท่านครับก็คงเป็นนักกอล์ฟอาชีพนะครับถ้าพูดถึงทะเลทรายก็คงนึกถึงน้ำนะครับต้องพกน้ำติดตัวตลอดครับผมเกิดปีจอก็น่าจะนึกถึงหมาครับเพราะว่าจริงๆเป็นคนชอบนอนกลางวันครับน่าจะเป็นของขวัญจากคุณพ่อคุณแม่แหละครับที่ได้รับตั้งแต่เด็กๆก็น่าจะชอบไทเกอร์วูดครับก็อยากจะดินเนอร์กับเขา
Cricket at the MCG. Tennis at Melbourne Park. Formula One Grand Prix at Albert Park. But badminton in Australia? Well, despite the sport's existence in the country since the early 1900s, it wasn't until the last decade that badminton grew in popularity.
Badminton has always been relatively popular, but it's never had the recognition that it deserved. It's what you'd call a medium-sized sport. In Australian terms, the big sports tend to get all the publicity and all the sponsorship and all of those things.
Though not known as a badminton powerhouse, Australia was represented when the sport was first introduced at the Barcelona Summer Olympics in 1992. Anna Lau reached the quarter-finals in the ladies' singles and together with Rhonda Couture reached the quarter-finals of the women's doubles event as well. To date, this has been Australia's best showing on the international stage.
The best thing for badminton in Australia was getting into the Olympic Games in 1992. That's when the funding really started, and then we were able to get some funding to compete in overseas tournaments and get our rankings up. So from a sport that was quite a minor sport, it's becoming even more popular now.
Badminton Australia has wasted no time in developing the game since then. They realised that badminton was popular among Asians. So they formulated a plan to raise the awareness of the sport within the country's growing Asian community.
We've continued to build the importance of badminton as an Asian-based sport. One, it's big in Asia, but two, 90% of our kids that are playing are of Asian origin, and we're probably, from all the sports in Australia, we have a bigger percentage of kids out of the Asian background. So from that point of view, that's fitted in fairly well to a lot of the work that the Sports Commission has tried to do, which is to build their links with the Asian communities.
While badminton is still considered a minor sport in Australia, there are many opportunities for those who love the game. From camps to sponsorship deals and even training courses for officials, Badminton Australia continues to push ahead with the sport's development.
We generate sponsorship for all their rackets and their gear, and we send them to tournaments. If we have just run here an event managers course for the islands and for Australian people, so that they can learn how to manage wonderful events like this, and also a referees course. If they choose to not be a player but be a technical official, they can get the credentials to move forward.
Yeah, we've had a few camps throughout my career. I've trained in Denmark, Malaysia. We recently trained in England for a bit, and next month we're training in Indonesia for a week. They're really good at exposing you to the different styles of play from different countries, and also the different coaching ways.
And there will be more exposure for badminton when the Australian Open gets upgraded to a Super Series starting in 2014. International players from all over the world will converge down under, creating a buzz in the badminton community that one could only imagine until now.
I think with the Super Series event, there's going to be a lot more interest in badminton, and the best players are coming out here, and there is a pathway now through to actually becoming a really good badminton player, and that probably wasn't here before, but there is here now. There is that opportunity and that chance to play full-time badminton and get a chance to be a really good player.
The Super Series is very exciting. It's very exciting to have Super Series in Australia. It's never been done before, and it's going to be terrific because there should be top players from all over the world coming to compete, and although it's going to be very tough competition for the Australians, it's just great to get that, like I said, that exposure, to let everyone in Australia see the top players, see what they can do, and just hopefully increase the profile of the sport.
With the buzz and excitement of the upcoming Super Series in Australia, it looks like exposure for the sport can only increase. And with the continued support of all who love the game, badminton could very well be a medal prospect for Australia in the near future.